Well, welcome, Aki. Thank you very much for participating in Clotho Festival 2. My name is Bridget Redd. I'm the executive director at the gallery, and we're just going to sit here and chit-chat about your participation and about some stitchery and the work that you currently have showing in our front window.
Yeah.
Let me ask you first, what drew you to stitchery, and who may have taught you stitchery to begin with?
Yeah, to be honest, as is visible in my work, like I didn't do that much stitchery on it. Like I added textile elements, obviously, since it's Clotho, like it's a textile related exhibition or show, but like I didn't learn stitchery as is as a kid. Like as a kid, my parents did tourism, so I was sometimes surrounded by Japanese people who worked with textile. Like for example, they made small bags to fill them with lavender and to just for themselves. But I didn't learn how to stitch as is. And with regard to painting, I taught it to myself. Like I'm self-taught. And thank you very much for inviting me to participate.
Oh, you're
in this
welcome.
nice show.
I noticed that there is stitchery in your painting. Does that stitchery represent something?
Yeah, like on the quail painting, on the left side, the stitchery is more sophisticated, like as far as I can tell. Like obviously I can't stitch that good, and compared to the work here, it's not very sophisticated at all. But it's supposed to be sophisticated, especially compared to the right-hand side, where it's more, the right-hand side is supposed to be representing more German stitchery, which is more like down-to-earth, robust. Like if you would talk about a language, it would rather be like the German language would rather be like a staircase, would rather be very solid, you can firm, it's always there, whereas the French stitchery, like a French staircase would be more ornated and more like a lot of unnecessary things, which are still necessary because they're beautiful and are making you happy, I guess.
Right, so that reflects on your ancestry?
Yeah, like I grew up in France and Germany. I think that's what I wanted to be. Like I'm more French than I think I am, I think, from the way I live, the way I perceive. And so that was supposed to represent that, and surrounded by the Japanese kimono-inspired patterns. I'm not that Japanese, but I'm still, like, it's part of me, I guess. And the other piece, it's like the mattress, the fabric has a long history in the Caribbean, generally speaking, but in Guadeloupe I was happy enough to do an internship, and so I added some lace, because the traditional dresses are very beautiful, like white with embroidery on it, and then the colorful mattress which is put on top, which East Indians brought to the Caribbean in their suitcases.
Now, the madras that you're reflecting in terms of Guadeloupe, have you spent time in Guadeloupe?
Yeah, I did an internship. Like I studied education 3 years ago, I think, and a school friend, like a childhood school friend of mine is from Guadeloupe, and she, like, I asked her if she knows a teacher on site, and she happens to know a teacher on site who is an inclusion specialist, and I'm studying inclusion right now, so like it was really happy for me. It was a very good experience.
A good experience, yeah. So, in around the exhibit, this Clotho Festival exhibit, people have embroidered pockets. You've done stitchery on your painting. Would you consider doing embroidery, having seen what you see here at the exhibit?
Yes, like I thought about, like, while painting, I had a lot of reflections going on in my head, and while preparing for the interview, to be honest, there was one question with regard to embroidery, and I think, I would contemplate doing embroidery, and I think it would even make me grow or help me, because it's a lot about regularity and a lot about rhythm. And I'm more a person who likes diverse stuff and always having stuff around me, and like I think it slows me down and would help me, like kind of a meditation to embroider. And I was really astonished and amazed what results you can gain just from actually one thread. It's like painting just one stroke of color, and you have a whole new world like emerging. So it's really impressive.
So having said that, then in terms of your art practice, would you say you're a traditionalist, or would you say you're more of an innovator? You'd mentioned that you're kind of like exuberant. So what would you consider yourself as, a traditionalist or an innovator, and why?
I think I would maybe say both, like an innovator, because I'm, for example, for this show I mixed medias, so it's like not only solely textile or solely paint or only oil paint, it's acrylic paint, acrylic oil and textile and a bit of embroidery. But I find it interesting how cultures, like in embroidery, like because it also has this traditional touch, or like in my head it rings a bell, and it's like embroidery equals tradition kind of. And it's interesting how the different cultures are reflected in embroidery. But me myself, I would say I'm a bit of both. Like I like learning traditional stuff, like technique, obviously, to then be able to on a long term adapt it and create my own art out of it, like an innovative art, hopefully.
Right, yeah. Would you have, for any beginner, either working in textiles or mixed media, would you have any suggestions or tips for someone who wants to start?
Maybe learn the very basic steps. Like if you're let's say you're interested in art, but you don't dare to try it because you think, oh, I can't draw anyway. Maybe during my work I found it's or what is ever evolving is like the self-confidence, like the confidence you have in yourself, like, okay, I'm able to do a stroke and it's going to look nice, and I'm going to do it boldly and with a lot of color. So to gain this confidence, maybe acquire like very basic technique, so that it's rewarding for you, and you see that actually you're making work and it's looking good. Yeah. So maybe acquire like very basic technique.
So, having viewed the exhibit and having participated in this particular exhibit, would you be interested in participating further in other exhibitions? Like, would you be interested in expanding your practice?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I also found it very interesting to have a theme given, because I just work freely, or like work, but yeah. I paint freely, but to have a subject given, like, okay, this is textile and culture, was really interesting for me, like to wrap my mind around it, to think about it. Yeah, so definitely yes.
Okay, and so one final question, one final insight. Usually an artist talks about the soul of their work. And in terms of your art, would you say the soul of your work is in the materials, in the story, or in the process of completing the artwork?
I would say it's between the process and the story, but rather the story. Like, I find telling the story of what it's supposed to be representing, like maybe once a person has had a look at it and did their own interpretation, it's more about the story, because it's more about the association, what I do associate with this, and so all this story. It's not just one stroke or beautiful colors, like according to me they're beautiful, but colors adjusted one next to the other. It's just like this whole story who gives it life, I feel, or meaning.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, Aki, thank you very, very much for participating and for agreeing to interview. For those of you that want to see Aki's work, it's on display here at the gallery until October the 4th. Thank you very much, Aki. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Bridget, for enabling me to show my art, and so that I was allowed to participate, and for the interview, for your time, and thank you very much.